shit, dude.
Oh shit.
Drumming in these bitches, dude.
They fucking rocking the set list, right?
Are those Rob's?
Those are my Jeezels.
The Old Testaments, man.
I can't believe it. Holy shit.
The Old Testament.
Oh fuck.
Oh, by the way, dude, check it out.
Oh
Fuck.
shit.
Mario Kart 64, baby. The problem is, I need to fix this one remote. But if I fix that, we'll have 4 players.
Yeah,
Unless you know anybody that's got a Nintendo Wii that they're not using anymore, I just need one of these remotes. And we could do fucking split screen.
You ready for that one, dude? You ready for the old lightning bolt?
Put the fucking racing team back together.
Gotta go hard style and shit.
Yeah.
Did you guys at least sharpen it?
No.
No way.
Still has the guitar. Pickups are still in there.
Fucking, that's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
Types. My name's Alex Cook.
I'm Rob.
Harry Cook.
Joe Tracy.
We're not brothers, by the way, but we do share the same last name.
Same spelling, kind of weird but cool at the same time.
So we're gonna do a Q&A, man. We're gonna answer a bunch of questions regarding the last single and just the project as a whole. So we've kind of posted on some stories and stuff like that, and you guys responded with a bunch of questions that we're gonna answer today. Starting with the process in which we recorded guitars. So whether we used amp sims and all the new technology with the quad cortex and Kemper's fractals, you name it, we actually use real amps for this one. So for the rhythm tone, for basically the heavy rhythms, we used a EVH 5153. For the cleans, we used the Fender Vibrolux, and for all the lead stuff, we used the Victory Supercrack. And as far as the mics and whatnot,
Yeah, we used 3 mics on the guitar cab. We used a 57 on the V30 in the cabinet. And on the creamback in the cabinet, I used a Dr. Alien Smith Capsule 8, which is a figure 8 pattern microphone turned 90 degrees. And then in the back of the amp, because it was an open back amp, we used a Royer, is it 122?
121.
Wow, yeah, 121. I don't even know my own fucking microphone. So 121 in the back, about 7 inches away from the opening of the cab. Flip the phase on that. And yeah, the combination of those 3 mics were the tone for the guitar.
And that, yeah, and as well with the And that was the same thing with the Victory. We used the same exact cabin, so still the orange with the V30 and the cream bag. We used that for the lead. Same miking, none of that changed. The only difference was with the Fender Vibrolux for the cleans. We still used the Royer in the back of that, but it was the pattern in which I think you just mic'd one single speaker.
Yeah, and I did what would look like a mid-side. So the Capsule 8 was still at 90 degrees, and the 57 was directly above, straight on.
So, and that pretty much sums up, exactly how we recorded the guitars for the most part, And this time, like for all the previous records, the stuff that Rob and I did, years ago, for Anchorage and the Resolve and Tides was a little bit different. There was some real
Some
amp.
real amps on that.
Yeah, there was a little bit. And Alan Rignan, shout out, because I know you did some reamping with your 6505 as well. Appreciate it. But we used to use normal DSP, and that was like the main guitar tone, pretty much for
Plenty plug-in, yeah.
yeah. I mean, for the whole thing. I mean, for basically the first two records, EPs rather. But that's
really
only
nice, really nice.
Dude, it does, man. I mean, the technology's really kind of just come a long way, dude. I mean, it definitely has. I mean, but personally, I do respond better to the feel of a natural amp. Just more comfortable when I play guitar, so that's something that I really wanted to be able to do. And now, fortunately, recording it here at Orion Studios, we were able to do that. You're playing it exactly. You're playing in a bedroom or something like that. I mean, it just makes things a little bit more complicated. But when you got a full functioning studio, then you're able to go ahead and do those types of things. Question number 2 states, how did we get the legendary drum tones on this record? And this was very much the same that we recorded everything at Orion Studios. I actually wasn't there for this particular part of the recording. I was out of town, and Joe and Rob took care of that.
Yeah, so we used a Pearl Master Series kit, which is a bit of a Frankenstein kit. The kick drum is birch, and all the toms are maple. And what heads did you use, Rob?
Ooh, that's a good question. I believe 2 of the toms had Remo Ambassador coateds.
That's right.
The snare drum head might have also been the same. One of them was a clear Emperor, I think, the big floor tom.
What was the snare drum you used?
It was a Pearl Sensitone copper, I believe.
Fucking loud as shit.
5.5 by 14. The kick drum, though, we used EMAD heads from Evans. With probably the small muffling ring on it.
Yeah.
And a couple of Frankenstein pads for the beater.
We did spend a lot of time tuning the drums too.
Yeah, we did that the first day before we recorded. I used Matt and Nolly's Creative Live class. They have top and bottom head notes that they typically tune to. I kind of try to stick with that as best we can. It's not perfect, but sometimes the drum will tell you where it wants to be, and it might be too high or low, and you can kind of adjust. But
Yeah, I think DW's actually
Townsend did that. DW does put a fundamental note in their drum that they typically want you to tune to. I'd usually do the snare by ear until we try to get rid of the ring, and then we go by lug and all that like everybody else. Kick drum is usually just finger tight. No real settings for that.
Yeah.
And then the pillow, forget what kind of pillow it is.
It looks like couch pillow.
20 by 20 couch pillow or something that's in there.
Yeah.
So
It's still in there.
that's pretty much it. Standard mic setup, MB421s on the toms.
Yep. We used that.
What do we have in the kick? Was it a Beta 91?
Did we
Or
use the
new
capsule?
mic? No, I think we used the Beta 91 in the
I don't think
in
you
the
owned
shoe.
the capsule at the time.
I might, okay, yeah. So it
If
would
we
have
had
been.
it, we didn't use it.
Yeah,
I
it
think
would have been the Beta 91,
91,
and then subkit.
Subkick on the outside.
Yeah, the 421s.
421 on the toms. Overheads were
They were
the
the
414s.
Yep, AKG 414s. They're the XLSs.
I forget what we used on the hi-hat and the ride.
So the hi-hat we used, I think we used both of them. We used the Shure SM81s.
Okay.
Hi-hat and the ride.
And then the snare was
Beta
Beta
56.
56.
Yeah, the one that articulates.
Beta 58.
That's Beta 56.
56?
Yep, and
Beta
then
56
probably
on
a
top, and then a 57 on the top.
Yeah. And I think we used baby bottles, the older blue baby bottles for the room mics, stereo. And then I think the last mic would have been, I used a crappy little RE mic, and I sent it through a level lock, like a Shure level lock, and I ran that. It was about what? About 10 feet, 8 feet in front of the drum kit at about.
Yeah, it was
10
lower in front of the kit, and the other ones were up in the concrete corners.
Right.
A little hot, with some reverb action.
Yeah, and the level lock just gives it like that nice trash, you know, that you can throw in there. I think that was pretty much it. You know, all we used, we have the V55 Neat console. All the drums were tracked through that console in their preamps with their EQs. Yeah.
Zilch and cymbals, custom stuff, and some custom mostly.
Yeah. Any crazy stacks or?
I didn't even put on the splash this time. I just had 2 crashes, ride, China, and a hat.
Okay.
That's kind of basically it.
Yeah, so I guess that would probably knock out the drums.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much.
Yeah.
That's recording obviously the main room.
Right.
Right. You have 3 different rooms. You have 2 ISO rooms. You have a main live room.
Right.
And then obviously the control room. But the drums are recorded in the main live room.
Yep. The ones you all seen in the videos.
Exactly. The ones we rehearsed at. That's where we practice. Question is, how did we all meet? How did this project start? You know, basically, the history of this project. So how we all met? I mean, Rob, he's been my best friend for how long now? 20 years probably. A long time. Yeah. So I mean, we've been best friends for a very long time, and we played in projects together. You know, kind of starting out early in our music careers, and we, you know, just played kind of like hard rock stuff, whatever, you know, just shit that any kid does, right? And then later on, I guess fast forward just towards the end of high school there.
You were 15.
Yeah.
When I met you, you were 15.
Jesus Christ.
It was at the
Yeah,
Fish Head
right,
Canteen.
yeah, right, yeah.
Yep. And
You guys were in a band before we did Pale Discretion, right?
Yeah.
Was that after that?
That was before. It was before that. That's
Yeah.
actually what started it. Yeah, I was playing a show with, I think it was a member that was in a band with you at the time, right?
Yep.
So yeah,
The drummer.
yeah, at Fish Head Cantina.
Steve Carter.
Yep, Steve. So
Shout
yeah,
out.
yep, yeah, man. We were playing a show at Fish Head Cantina, and oddly enough, so like actually how this all started when I met Joe was I had a Hammer or Hamer, however you pronounce it. It was a USA Daytona Stratocaster.
Blue.
And it was. And it had a little 59, so it was like a humbucker, and then it had a hot rail on the neck. He had a Strat with basically the same pickup configuration, Fender USA Strat. And when I got off stage, we had started talking about, you know, the pickups and stuff. Joe approached me and we had a conversation about
I knew that 'cause I was like, he fucking wired that.
yeah, I did, dude.
It's not routed as a motherfucker.
It was. And yeah, we carried on the conversation, man. We started talking about pickups and this and that, and then like we exchanged numbers, and we started hanging out, and
Got a room here.
literally got a room here, you know, at Orion Studios. It literally all started here. And yeah, Joe and I had a room on the other side. Forgot exactly, was it 119?
119.
119,
Right next
that's
to
what it
bathroom.
was. And we just wrote music, you know. We started hanging out and writing music, and I had a real strong appreciation for how he wrote music and his songwriting. And at the time, you know, I was playing things in that kind of realm, you know, and we just experimented a lot with each other, and then we started a band called Pale Discretion. Obviously, Rob being my best friend, we started playing together, the three of us.
It's like the
plus.
second practice. The first practice, we hung out.
You guys.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah,
and then
yeah.
Alex is like, I got a drummer.
Yeah.
And you came the next time.
Exactly, dude. Yeah, it was at your old house.
Yep.
We're like fucking 2 houses up from where you live now.
I remember it because I
In
bought
the basement.
that Premier drum kit.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, the black.
And then like, yeah, you
Oh,
had like,
man,
yeah,
now I remember that house.
It
I
was
for
one-
so long could remember like.
It was the
yeah,
one on the
Yeah.
corner.
Yeah,
There's
yeah,
one on
yeah.
the corner, dude. I remember that.
But
shit.
yeah, like you played that kit the first practice, and I think the next practice we had, you had bought a brand new DW.
Yeah,
what
'cause
was
I
it?
didn't have anything at that point.
Yeah. But you bought that kit
I
then.
bought the DW Performance Series from Chuck
I
Leonard.
was like, oh, push it.
Yeah, and then right up there, we started writing and we started making music in a band called Pale Discretion, and that's how our history started. You know,
Yeah.
we played in that project for the better part of 6 years, actually. You know,
Yep.
we played a lot of shows local around Baltimore and some regional stuff in Delaware and so on and so forth. But yeah, you know, we wrote a lot of music, played a lot of shows together, and it was a real like learning experience just playing in a band that, you know, played out, like recorded music and did things to a professional level. At the time, a lot of the stuff I've ever done in my music career was just, you know, just shit that you do, right? You're just, you know, playing with a couple friends, you know, maybe, you know, like whatever, you know, nothing ever comes of it. But this was the first project that kind of taught me how to be a musician. And it was really important, you know, and then I guess years down the road,
I think 2016 was when.
when that disbanded,
Right.
and Rob and I had started playing in a project called Clear the Coast, and we played with a good friend of ours that was really important to us, Kev McGronin, was a guitarist, and he played in that project along with myself. Mike, who was the bass player from Pale Discretion, played bass in that project, and we had a vocalist, Lee. And this was more of the hardcore, melodic hardcore kind of genre. And we kind of dove into that. You know, we played in that project for, you know, I would say a year plus or so. And wrote some music, recorded some music, nothing ever officially released or anything. But that was kind of like the start of the guitar, my guitar playing evolving. Like it definitely changed to where, like, you know, different chord structures and getting into different music. Because at that time, that's when bands like, you know, Contortionist and Era and, you know, Periphery
Sky
was
Harbor.
playing, Sky Harbor, absolutely. You know, a lot of those bands were playing out and you know, releasing new music, and that was a big influence in that time frame for my writing style. You know, I've always kind of had like this, I don't want to say 80s-esque kind of guitar playing for the lead work, but it definitely nods itself to that. But that genre kind of melded with, you know, my guitar playing, and that project was kind of, you know, the segue into Wave Types. And when that project disbanded, there was always kind of this running joke between Rob and I of just like doing our own instrumental solo kind of shit. And like when that band broke up, it was kind of like, all right, like let's just fuck around with it and see what happens, right? So we started writing some music, and we built that studio at your old house.
Yeah, we had a studio in Catonsville.
Yeah, I
Did
mean-
that first
That's a nice
2
room.
records over there.
Yeah, we did do the first 2 records over there. I mean, fucking, that was cool, man, setting that shit up. But yeah, you know, we just kind of dove into it, and we did some. Actually, it's kind of funny. It's kind of funny to note that at that time, I didn't even own a 6-string guitar with a humbucker in it. I just had a Stratocaster and like 7 strings. So like, I didn't even have a 6-string that like was even cutting it. But so a lot of the early Wave Types demos were recorded on a Stratocaster, and it wasn't until I think like our 3rd demo is when Long Game kind of came about. And as we were writing that, like it just was like, damn, like this is actually kind of good. Like I kind of like think this is fucking where it's at. And so we put it together, and then lo and behold, you know, we stuck to it and released that song, just a demo of that song on YouTube. And a good friend of ours, a really good friend, and you guys have heard his work as you've listened to this project, Donnie Ingram reached out, and he did the mixing and mastering on Anchorage, The Resolve. Alan Rigdon, thank you so much. He did Tides, and Donnie just did the single, Calling.
Dreamcatcher Studios.
Dreamcatcher Studios, which is, dude, you guys need some work done, man. He's definitely the dude to fucking hit up.
He's surgical.
Yeah, he is. You know, and like we've all been like close friends for a very long time. I went to high school with Donnie, same grade, same
You
age.
played in the band with them.
I played in the band with Donnie.
True.
God, man, that might have been actually about 20 years ago.
Yeah,
Did you play drums in the
Yeah,
band?
in that band I did, yeah.
Yeah. So like we've all kind of known each other a very long time. But yeah, the project, like when we released Anchorage, it was January of 2020. And lo and behold, what happened next, right? So like COVID kind of like messed things up in some regard, just the natural workflow and trying to navigate like getting a full band together. So like after we released that music, just Rob and I, we did another one. We always kind of wanted to get a full project together, but it just, stars didn't align, right? And then fortunately, I guess last year, 2025, just kind of got together for, first time hanging out in the room and played some wave types material, which was like really cool. And it's actually your idea to say like we should put this together, and that's what happened. And then
Harry came into the picture a little bit before though.
he did, yeah, actually, yeah. So
That's a funny story. So
give your introduction.
Oh man. Well, let's just start out by saying the conversation happened once, and then it was like the pancake that never got flipped, and I was like, did you really make me drive to Maryland for no fucking reason? But that's not how the story ends. So the way it begins is I was on a ladder at work, and my Spotify put these fools on, and I thought to myself, man, this shit fucks, for lack of better English. And once I started following on social media, I realized, hey, they're pretty close. I'm from Lancaster, Pennsylvania. That's the home of August Burns Red, which is a whole other story in itself, but that's my background. Now, listening to these guys, I was just kind of blown away. I was like, this is a new flavor, something I personally really enjoy. So me and Alex become friends, and then we figure out, hey, you're not too far away. Hey, you can actually play. Hey, you actually can really fucking play. Do you want to come play? It was a no-brainer for me. First meeting, we just were up in the air about, the schematics of everything, and next thing I know, Joe's in the picture, which really solidifies everything and brings it full circle, and hey, here we are today. My background is very simple. I come from Lancaster, it's where ABR and all that, same time frame, have played shows where they opened up for my old bands. I personally took a hiatus from music, explored other avenues in life, but I really like music. I really like playing my guitar, and it's brought me back to a place where I feel at home. I feel a lot better about myself and a lot of other things in life, and like these guys are really like, this is it for me, and this is how I got into the picture. I really, again, I can't stress this enough, a fan first. So for me to even be sitting here doing this, I'm like, that's how it happened. That's how it happened.
Like, you had the chops, man. Like I remember posting.
Oh, we got the same last name though, with the same spelling, which is like
so weird. Yeah, it's so weird, but like,
dude, even our teeth are kind of similar. It's crazy.
Yeah, true. The old gap.
The old Gabby Chan job.
So yeah, I guess with that being said, 2025, we've all been in the same room, rehearsing monthly, practicing, and basically just going back through the old material, learning the old material, and writing new stuff. Obviously, The Calling would be one that we released in the year, and we also have some other new material that we're working on too. But yeah, true, just got finished ripping it across the way. But yeah, it's been a learning curve. I mean, you're back in a full project, and there's a lot of nuances, right? And it's weird because like every other band that I've ever been in my career has been like, y'all hang out, like let's start a band. Oh, that sounds cool, right? We all do it. And you get in the room together, and like, tuba, beat comes in there, somebody's playing some riff, and then next thing you know, you write a song. Like this was all pre-recorded material. So like, instead of like coming in and being like, oh shit, we gotta learn all this shit. Like, we gotta learn the whole fucking album. Like, so it's been, it's been a learning curve, and it's actually been really enjoyable, man. I mean, we're kind of like starting to, not really starting, but we've been getting to the point where it leads to the next question, right? When you guys playing live, okay, so that is going to be a thing this year in some capacity. I can't promise that there's going to be some crazy world tour going on, none of that. Maybe, who knows, whatever, but we are planning on playing live in 2026. This room would be a great place to start, right? Doing a showcase would be kind of cool. Could be done. We're in talks with another friend of mine that has, a project that we're potentially planning to show sometime over the summer, but more than likely, regardless of those, whatever, we're going to be playing at some point this year. And there's some behind the scenes stuff that we're still working. I mean, obviously the in-ears and the clicks and things and tempo maps, like we have to get all this stuff mapped out. We still have some older material that we do need to learn yet. So maybe we take a break from writing new stuff and basically building a set, you know, and that's the first thing that we have to do. And things have to be mapped out accordingly, you know, and that's where we're at right now as a project. Still writing and releasing new music, and we do plan to record and release new music this year too, but at the same time we are putting a lot of focus on actually playing it out live. And that comes with time, practice, and a lot of fucking money. Because that in-ear shit is fucking expensive,
That shit
dude.
expensive, dog.
Jesus Christ, man. I mean, god damn, dude. You know, there are a lot of you go, you got all these guitars, like, what the fuck? You know, I know, I mean, I don't want to sell them all, but shit. You know? So,
Money too, dude.
yeah, right, you know, go down to Atomic. But yeah, with that being said, we do plan to play out live. It would probably be more of a regional thing to start. I can't promise that we're going fucking wherever, but I'm pretty sure, you know, PA, DMV, Maryland, Virginia, the Carolinas, all that kind of stuff, out to Ohio. But yeah, we're just in this regional area is probably feasible for us. Outside of that, you know, we can't predict what tomorrow brings, right? You never know. So what I'm saying now could change, right? You never know. So at the end of the day, but we are actively planning on playing a show, hopefully to start in our home state of Maryland, hometown, Baltimore/Lancaster, but Baltimore. Majority rules.
I'm a transplant. It's
I
Baltimore,
got
man.
you. But yeah, so that's kind of summing up the do we plan to play live? Yes, we do. And that's-
I got a question for you. How, when you typically set up your tone circuit on an amplifier, like what's your go-to? What's your start point, tone-wise?
Tone-wise for me, it's definitely a loaded question. For like high gain stuff, for like most of like the heavier rhythms, and this is once again depending on which guitar I'm playing. Like if it's a 7-string stuff, things are going to be skewed a little bit differently. But the first thing I try to do is I mean I kind of set everything neutral to 12 o'clock. And the reason why this is a loaded question is a lot of this stuff dictates on what room you're playing in, right? I got to understand the room that I'm playing in. So where we're practicing now, like my tone may change if I was playing in this room. And there's some things that I may skew and so on and so forth. But I do like the gain to be saturated. I don't need it to be like overly aggressive to the point where like, you know, it's like when anybody that's played a 5150, you know, there's past 12 o'clock is way too damn much. It doesn't need to be that distorted. It just needs to be enough to where the rhythms can be, you know, articulate. You can hear like the different chords, because this project is based on a lot of chord structures, a lot of big chords,
Yes.
a lot of open chords,
A lot of arpeggiated.
a lot of arpeggiated stuff. Like you know, some notes are ringing every which direction, and it's really important to have a tight distortion tone, but also it saturates well, and the clarity, you know, across each string is prominent. Because if not, you lose a lot of detail in the music that you wouldn't hear, just simply for the fact that you probably chose the wrong amp or you set it up incorrectly. So with the high gain stuff, enough distortion to where it saturates so it's not even. I don't feel like I have to really dig in to get it, and everything's kind of just clear, crystal clear, you know, and tight, punchy. You know, we can use those types of words, sure, fine, whatever, but that's what I try to aim at for a guitar tone. And the amp that I am playing is the Victory Super Kraken, and
Yeah, same.
same thing. So we're playing Victories in this project more for, you know, the live aspect of things. And in the studio as well, we have used them. But the Super Kraken does a really good job of basically summing up my guitar playing in one box. The clean is excellent, and the mid-gainy tones are just absolutely incredible. And
Leads are
ultimately,
super clear.
oh my
Yeah.
god, dude! The leads, it's got the most sweetest mid-range, man. It's got this nice percussiveness to it. Like when I do like a lot of hammer-ons and pull-offs, and like that amp really responds to that really well. I do have some amps that don't, you know, I've played a lot of amplifiers, Jesus Christ, but like a lot of them don't have that quality to them, and a very few subset do. And that's the thing that gravitated me most towards that amp. Plus, you know, I was a big fan of Cornford amplification. Listened to Guthrie Govan back in the day. Greg Howe played them. Like, you know, a lot of guitar players that I liked that did that style of music, where it's just, you know, instrumental, played those amplifiers, and I was in love with them. And then it was basically a rebranding of some sort. I don't know exactly the history of why Cornford turned into Victory or how that happened, but still, I believe the brains behind the puppet is Martin Kidd, if I'm not mistaken. I'm pretty sure. If I'm incorrect, I apologize, but you know, he builds absolutely incredible amplifiers. So when this project started, bam, you know, that was my first choice, was the Victory line of amps. And actually, Joe and I, fortunately enough, there's a guitar center close to here, actually had the amplifier there. I was like, holy shit. So we went down and it was used, and yeah, we plugged it up and, you know, messed with it and played for a better part of a couple hours, and dude just, you know, all right, that's mine. You know,
Sounds familiar.
yeah, it does, dude. I mean, that amp rips, dude.
It's a good one.
So yeah, you know, and me as a guitarist and like tone and stuff like that, like I don't overcomplicate things. I really don't. We're incorporating the head rush unit, pedal board kind of thing for mostly effects and amp changing, but you know, MIDI capabilities down the road into the in-ears and all, you know, whatever. But we'll get there. But regardless, you know, for like clean tones and all the stuff, like I don't use many effects. It's simply a reverb, some sort of modulation light, whether it be chorus or flanger, and I'm still kind of experimenting with some things. But for the most part, it's just a really nice reverb. I need a nice reverb, a delay in certain situations that I use, but most of the stuff is just reverb and modulation to some degree. Now, in post, with some of the recordings, there are some things that Donnie did with, you know, certain effects and stuff like that in post that I would probably have to emulate, which I will. But you know, for the most part, it's simple, man. An amp that saturates really nice, mid-range.
Boost pedal.
Boost pedal.
Got a boost pedal in there too.
Yeah, I do use a boost on occasion. That's something I'm still kind of like, you know, dude, some of these amps, man, like I don't know, it's like kind of a, like you think you got to get a high gain amp, the first thing you do is you got to get like an overdrive, but like, dude, sometimes you really don't, man. I don't know. Like it just depends on the amp, really, at the end of the day. But yeah, that's just kind of my approach to how I would navigate, you know, a tone. So another question reads, songwriting process, and this is kind of another, it's evolved.
I was gonna say it's evolved.
Yeah.
It used to be you with the riff, you bring in a riff, and I write a beat, and then it was one part. And then we'd write another part, part by part. But like we would write a song in a day.
Yeah.
We used to get together every Sunday. He would come in with like a riff or two to start off, and then we'd kind of just work through it and kind of like, you know, get two parts together. All right, what should come next? What do we feel like? You know, where does it want to go? Clean, heavier? What is it? And kind of work through that. I used to write in everything off the bat, beat wise, and then I kind of got groove packs and everything, and made it a lot easier just to get through, you know, get the bones of the song down. But usually it starts with a riff from him. And sometimes I gotta make it fit to, you know,
For sure.
the groove, you know, and then we get it working, and then, you know, kind of just go from there. And now we're all together in a room, so it's kind of different.
Yeah,
Same
that's
sort of thing. Starts off with a riff, but then we kind of work it out all together now.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Ricky's been
me and
bringing
him
some
right
cool
now,
stuff to the
kind of used
table.
to be, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's been like the biggest thing, like that's taken a lot of time, is just naturally playing with the full band now versus just Rob and I. Like Rob and I had our own flow, you know, and then now it's different, right?
Yeah, we would do it all.
Yeah.
Guitars, bass, backgrounds, drums, whatever.
Yeah.
Then we would send it off, and Donnie or Alan would take care of it.
And now it's kind of a,
Now it's like
I think
same
our-
thing, but we all like write this stuff
I
together.
think our strong point here is, regardless of the instrument that is actually in our hands, we're all very capable of touching other instruments and being okay with it. So we really work off each other to create, at this point, like I'll bust a riff. I will take that same riff and start busting it just a smidge different, which fits. And then we start blending. We start doing this, we start doing that. Joe will have an idea and say, hey, my guitar player in me is screaming at you guys that this should be like this. And we make a change. And then, you know, see, Rob will have something. It just really, it's a collective effort at this point, and it's all because we're capable and we're working together and we're voicing. That's the most important thing.
yeah. I mean, it's yeah, absolutely. It's just it's different for me. Like it's definitely different for me. Just the evolution of it all. You know, I mean, it's like Rob said, every Sunday, you know, we get together and it was just him and I. You know, play a riff, kind of work it through and see where it goes. And it's just different that the evolution now is, you know, everybody. You know, and kind of Rob and I started this project, I wanted to make it a focal point that like when we started the band, because it's like it's a weird thing for me personally, because it was music that, you know, we wrote, Rob and I, and then to like ask somebody like, hey dude, you kind of want to write everything I already wrote. Like it's,
You want to play everything?
it kind of like, it's weird, man. Like I don't like that. But
It's
so
not weird because I personally was a fan of it,
Well,
so
yeah,
like
that's-
I'm
and-
enjoying that part.
and that, you know, I can understand that.
Yeah.
So it moving forward, you know, our whole involvement with everything. It's not just, you know, it's all it's collaboration at this point, right? You know,
Wave Types is 4 guys, not 2.
exactly. You know, and that's been cool, man. It's been a lot of fun over the last year, like just navigating that.
That's what it is.
Yeah, it's a year
Whole
anniversary.
fucking year.
Yeah, pretty much
Wow.
year anniversary. So, been 1 year where the 4 of us have been doing that kind of
Been a
thing.
pleasure, boys.
It has, dude. It
Yeah.
definitely has.
Thanks.
All right, last, Victor. Dude, you've been a fan since day one, man. I'm gonna run through your questions real quick. Starting with, do I own an 8-string? I do not. I have no concept of how to even play an 8-string. And I want to, dude. I really do. But I don't. I don't own one, and I haven't had any time playing one. Joe, you owned one at one point in time. What kind of guitar was it again?
It's a GOC Materia 8, and I put Rebel Yell bare knuckles in it.
Yeah, it was a cool guitar. So I have played that one. I mean, it's not like I haven't played 8-string, but I definitely have played an 8-string. Your other question was, do I still own my first guitar? And I do. It's a 1991 Gibson Les Paul.
Wait, that one?
Yep, and it's
Oh, that's
Snow
cool
White
as
was
well.
there. This thing is still in the case. It's actually kind of a funny story. I was working at Wrecking Parks, local, you know, whatever, but I was young. I mean, I was still in high school, and I was saving up money to buy, you know, my first instrument. And I remember my dad took me to Guitar Center, and the guitar, I think the Les Paul was like $500, $20, something in that price range. And I forgot like how much it was. Like a couple months later, after I was saving paychecks. So I was like, Dad, you know, I want to go down and like check it out. I think I'm gonna buy this thing. And like, I went down there and like, I saw the price tag. Like $400. So my pop threw these like, here, man. So he threw down on the rest of it, and I got the Les Paul, which was a very, very important guitar. Still is to this day. Rest in peace to my father. Thank you so much. I still have it. Never get rid of it. Love that fucking guitar. Next question was album art. So album art is a really symbolic thing for me. It's really important. Like a lot of the album art, actually all of the album art, has cues that are local to my home state, Maryland. And they have Baltimore references and just references of the state. So every lighthouse, like for Anchorage, there's a song called Sharp's Island Light. That lighthouse in particular is a lighthouse on the Chesapeake Bay that I spent a lot of time fishing in my childhood. And then Tides was a Thomas Point lighthouse, which is my father's favorite lighthouse, my favorite lighthouse too. And spent a lot of time fishing around that lighthouse as well. The Resolve, that clipper ship, was the clipper ship that was parked down in the Inner Harbor in Baltimore. And then lastly, the Calling, that is Baltimore Lighthouse, with obviously things that are, you know, if you live in Maryland or been to Maryland or know anything about Maryland, outside of the Ravens losing.
Worst drivers ever.
You know, or the Orioles getting knocked out, you know. Jesus Christ, man. But outside of that, you know, crab cakes, football, Chesapeake Bay, and a lot of nautical, you know, things, you know, if you will. But yeah, you know, that's Maryland, and that's my home state. It's where I was born and raised. It's all I know, you know, and that's why a lot of the album art always constantly has cues and things. And I'm sure a lot of people don't pick up on it because obviously a lot of you aren't even from this state, but even the people that are, I'm kind of curious of whether or not you picked up on any of that. But everything has some sort of cue to my hometown. And that's going to wrap this thing up. We're out of time. Oh, you got one?
Who did the album art?
Yeah.
All for band.
Yeah, All for Band. Yeah, All for Band did the album art. I've been
They've
working
done
with
it all.
them.
They've done the album and the T-shirt on.
Yeah,
really?
yeah, All for Band's done everything since.
It looked like the same guy.
Yeah,
Same
yeah,
guy.
same
Yeah.
person ever since day one. So yeah, look guys, appreciate it. I don't know if you even made it this far in the video or not, but I want to personally thank you guys for listening to the new single, The Calling. We're gonna keep on writing, keep on making new music, and hopefully, you know, we'll get some more stuff out. Whether it be an album, EP, that's still kind of undetermined right now. It just kind of depends on the flow of how everything goes, right? Could be another EP, it could be a full length. It just depends on the creativity of it all. And that's probably my biggest advice, just being a musician. Don't rush things, man. Like I got riffs, you know, a lot of riffs that you guys still DM me about like daily, like, yo, you ever gonna use this? Is this in a song? And it's not because I don't want it to be. I love the riff, but like I just can't find the right spot, or I haven't found a way to work it in yet. And instead of like forcing it just to have that one really good part, like I choose to just wait for that natural, you know, the creativity and sometimes that inspiration that's lacked me for the last several years, and finally has kind of come back. You know, there's always a time and a place, and you know, one day that riff will be a banger, you know. And you know, for everybody out there that writes and records and plays in projects and wants to, you know, make music, man, like one of the things that I've always said is that, like, and this is kind of for everybody, not just musicians, but your favorite song ever is probably sitting on some dude's hard drive that's like never released it, you know? Never had the opportunity to, or never had the courage to. Like, whatever it is, man, like, just keep writing, keep releasing music, get it out there. You know, you never know.
It's a muscle. Creativity is a muscle.
It is, you know, and like I said, man, I mean, how many demos do we have just chilling on the hard drive? Shit.
We got folders.
You know, you guys may love the shit, but
We have a
Purple
whole album we
Jesus.
didn't even actually put out.
yeah, we did, you know, we did.
Oh,
There's no record before Ties. It's never gonna get put out because it ain't worth getting put out.
yeah, never
Well,
on
let
it.
me go through that thing real
Yeah,
quick.
we'll send you some.
You'll have
Yeah,
to-
yeah, yeah. There's a couple things I can put some.
Maybe I'll use
That's
some of
for
the
sure.
stems throughout the rest
Just
of
wait
this,
till
like,
you do the
video
jazz.
stuff. But yeah,
Jazz.
so.
I don't want those.
It's fun.
Yeah, shit. All right, well, look, that wraps it up. Once again, appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. We are Wave Types, and we will be playing. I'm gonna end it like that. Hold on. Give me a second.
3, 2, 1, shoot.
All right. So once again, not once again. All right, everybody, that wraps it up. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We are Wave Types. Hopefully, that fucking sucks. You end it, motherfucker, man. Go.
So, thinking that's gonna sum it all up.
That ain't gonna fucking Ain't no way, dude.
Put
What
right
are
on
you
your
doing,
fucking
man?
neck. Put right on your neck, dog.
What is fucking voice cracking in there? All right. Fucking Jesus Christ, man.
So that's gonna be the end of this one. Unless you have anything you want to add, Chris, Alex, Joe.
No, man.
That's gonna be it. We'll talk to you later. Peace out.